All right, let's talk about a type of power that most people just completely miss, yet it runs so much of our daily lives. A kind of power you might be losing day after day without even knowing it's gone.
I mean, really think about it. Every time you shot back a reply to someone who didn't deserve a single word from you, you handed over a piece of yourself. Every single time you tried to explain yourself to people who were never going to get it, you basically gave them the keys to your emotions. That's the wound we're talking about today.
This whole strategy, this whole way of thinking, it really just comes down to one simple but incredibly powerful idea. And it's this: your attention is a resource. It's finite, it's valuable, and let's be honest, you've probably been giving it away for free. This right here, this changes the whole game. You've got to start thinking of your attention like money. And you've been spending this incredibly valuable currency on people who, frankly, wouldn't give you the time of day. It's time to stop seeing your attention as something everyone gets and start seeing it for what it is, your greatest source of power.
And this slide just lays it out perfectly. Look at the two paths. On one side, you've got the guy who reacts to everything. He's constantly bleeding power. Other people are pulling his strings, and in the end, he's forgettable. But then you have the man who ignores. He saves his power. He controls himself. And what happens? He becomes magnetic. It's the difference between being a pawn in the game and being the one who owns the board.
So the big question is, how do you become that guy on the right? Well, for that, we've got to turn to the master strategist himself, Niccolo Machiavelli. He knew that real, lasting power isn't about being the loudest person in the room. Nope. It's about mastering the weapon of silence. Machiavelli saw this play out again and again. The people who held back, who withdrew their presence, they became fascinating, magnetic. And the ones who gave their attention away to anyone who asked, they were just forgotten. He wasn't interested in what was fair. He was interested in what worked. And the results were clear. Withdrawing is how you conquer. But let's be really, really clear about this. This isn't just about being quiet. Machiavellian silence is a deliberate move. It's an action. It's a statement that says, your drama, your attack, none of it warrants my energy. It means you're playing on a totally different level, one they can't even touch. And really, that's the ultimate takeaway from this whole philosophy. Real power doesn't need to yell or justify itself or beg to be seen. It's just there. It's quiet, it's self-assured, and its very existence forces everything and everyone around it to adapt. Okay, so we've got the philosophy down, but now let's get into the juicy part, the psychology. What is actually going on inside someone's head when you decide to strategically ignore them? This is just wild. On a neurological level, when someone gets ignored, their brain processes it like physical pain. It's not just hurt feelings, it's a genuine pain signal. So when you refuse to even acknowledge someone, their brain goes into a full-on panic mode. They literally feel that rejection in their gut. And that's the power you have when you just look away. You basically become a ghost that haunts their every thought. See, the human mind craves connection and closure. When you deny them that, you create a vacuum, an obsession. They'll start replaying everything, changing their behavior, questioning themselves, desperate to get any reaction from you. And the crazy part is, you're doing absolutely nothing. Which brings us to the end game. Look, this isn't about being cruel. It's pure strategy. You don't give them the satisfaction of a fight. You don't give them closure. That's a gift, and they haven't earned it. Instead, you give them the ultimate punishment. You make them irrelevant. You treat them like they just don't exist. All right, so we get the why. Now let's get into the how. How do you actually put this into practice? Because there's a huge difference between just being absent, which is weak, and being strategically withdrawn, which is pure power. So first, you gotta identify who is completely unworthy of your attention. Your enemies? Ignoring them shows everyone that they aren't even a threat to your peace. Your critics? Let them yell. Responding to them just drags you down to their level. And those energy vampires, the ones who live on drama, you just cut them off. No explanation needed. You owe them absolutely nothing. You have to remember this. Your silence isn't passive. It's an active, powerful defense of your most precious resources, your time, your focus, and your energy. Every second you spend on their noise is a second you've stolen from your own mission. Now, when you start putting all these pieces together, the philosophy, the psychology, the strategy, something really incredible starts to happen. You begin a final transformation. You start to build a version of yourself that is, for all intents and purposes, untouchable.
This takes real discipline, though. When someone tries to get under your skin, your first instinct is going to be to snap back. The training is this. 1. Acknowledge the insult, but only to yourself. 2. Observe that feeling of anger rising up. And 3. You just let it pass right through you without doing anything. You maintain that inner fortress. Every time you do that, you're adding another brick to the wall.
So if you think about every social interaction as a game of chess, and most people are just emotionally reacting to every little move, how do you actually take control of the board? By doing nothing. It sounds crazy, right? But by strategically ignoring a move, you force your opponent to react to your silence. You completely flip the script. Now they have to come to you. They have to explain themselves. They have to seek your approval. The whole power dynamic shifts in your favor, just like that. And here we are again, back to our two players. The pawn is predictable. You can see their moves coming a mile away. But the master, you have no idea what he's thinking. He saves his energy, and he doesn't just play the game. He controls the entire game. And this, right here, is the fundamental truth of it all. The need for other people's approval, it's the death of power. The second you stop caring what they think, you break the chains they use to control you. Praise can't bribe you, and criticism can't threaten you. You're finally, truly free. And this is what that freedom looks like. The untouchable man, he doesn't compete for the spotlight. He doesn't waste his breath arguing with fools. He isn't chasing validation. He saves all his energy for the fights that actually matter, for his purpose. He is the king of his own inner kingdom. That version of you that wasted energy on people who drained it, the one who explained himself to people who refused to listen, the guy who chased validation from others, that version of you dies today. You have the knowledge now. The only question is, what are you going to do with it? Your reign begins now.